In a quiet village tucked away in the heart of Africa, where traditions were not just rules, but a way of life, love was often a matter of negotiation, not passion. The people of this village believed that every union must honor the customs of the ancestors. But what happens when love refuses to bow to tradition? This is the story of Akello and Amina, whose love was about to shake the very foundations of their community. Akello was no ordinary farmer. Known for his kindness and work ethic, he was beloved by many, but he had no riches to his name. Amina, on the other hand, was the daughter of the chief, a beauty admired by all but bound by the weight of her lineage. One fateful evening, as Amina gathered water by the river, Akello happened to pass by. Their eyes met, and in that instant, something unspoken passed between them. Amina smiled shyly, and Akello's heart raced. Over the next few days, they began meeting by chance, or so they told themselves. At the river, they would talk for hours, sharing stories, dreams, and laughter. It was clear to them both they had found something rare and precious. But their happiness was short-lived. When Akello approached the chief to ask for Amina's hand in marriage, he was met with a stern response. The chief, a man deeply tied to tradition, demanded an impossible bride price: 10 cows, 5 goats, barrels of palm wine, and gold. Akello's heart sank. He was just a farmer with little more than his harvest to his name. The chief's demand was a clear message: this union would never happen. "Love is not enough," the chief said firmly. "A man must prove his worth." Word of the bride price spread quickly, and the villagers began to whisper. Some pitied Akello, while others mocked him for daring to dream of marrying the chief's daughter. Despite the odds, Akello and Amina refused to give up. They began meeting in secret, far from the prying eyes of the village. Deep in the forest, under the canopy of ancient trees, their love blossomed. By the soft glow of the moonlight, they made promises to each other. "I don't care about riches or tradition," Amina whispered. "I only want you." Akello vowed to find a way, no matter how difficult it seemed. Their love gave them strength, but they knew time was running out. The chief, growing impatient, announced Amina's engagement to a wealthy suitor from a neighboring village. The suitor, a man much older than Amina, arrived with a lavish entourage, bearing gifts that dazzled the villagers. Amina felt trapped. She pleaded with her father, but he dismissed her protests. "This is for the good of the family," he said. "You will bring honor to our name." Amina's heart broke, but her spirit remained unyielding. She secretly sought out Akello and told him everything. Tears streaming down her face, she asked, "What will we do now?" Akello knew he couldn't match the suitor's wealth, but he refused to back down. He worked tirelessly in his fields, planting extra crops and tending to them with care, hoping for a bountiful harvest. He traded what little he had for tools and supplies, determined to offer something meaningful to the chief. At night, he would sit under the stars, planning and dreaming. "I'll show them," he told himself. "I'll prove that love and dedication are worth more than gold." His determination inspired others. A few villagers, moved by his story, began to help in secret. They offered advice, tools, and even small gifts to support his efforts. But the question lingered: would it be enough? While Akello toiled, Amina made her own stand. On the day of her engagement ceremony, she shocked the village by refusing to accept the suitor's gifts. In front of the elders and her father, she declared, "I cannot marry a man I do not love. My heart belongs to Akello." The villagers gasped, women whispered, and men shook their heads. Such defiance was unheard of, especially from the chief's daughter. The chief was furious, but Amina stood her ground, her eyes blazing with determination. The village erupted in chaos. Some supported Amina, admiring her bravery. Others sided with the chief, arguing that traditions must be upheld. Akello and Amina became the talk of the village, their love story dividing the community. The chief, feeling his authority threatened, warned Akello to stay away. But Akello, emboldened by Amina's defiance, decided it was time to make his move. On a day when the entire village had gathered for a festival, Akello approached the chief. In his hands he carried a basket filled with the finest produce from his farm, ripe fruits, fresh vegetables, and grains. He knelt before the chief and said, "I have nothing but my hard work and my love for your daughter. I offer you this, not as payment, but as a symbol of my commitment to her." The villagers fell silent. The chief stared at the humble offering, his expression unreadable. Akello's words struck a chord, and after what felt like an eternity, the chief finally spoke. "Sometimes it is not wealth that matters, but the heart behind it," he said. "You have shown courage and devotion. You may marry my daughter." Tradition transformed. The village erupted in cheers. Amina ran to Akello, tears of joy streaming down her face. The couple's love had not only triumphed, but also transformed the way the village viewed marriage. From that day forward, the village began to value love and character over material wealth. Akello and Amina's story became a symbol of hope, reminding everyone that true love can overcome even the strongest barriers. Closing scene. Years later, Akello and Amina sat under a large tree, watching their children play in the fields. The village thrived, its people inspired by their story. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Amina turned to Akello and said, "Do you think they'll remember our story?" Akello smiled and replied, "They'll never forget. Sometimes love isn't just a feeling, it's a revolution."